Awesome.
And sometimes I'll try to flip around whenever I can.
Yeah.
But do what I can. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Thursday, and it's Thursday. So if it's Thursday, you know what that means. It's a great day to be alive on a Thursday night here, right here in Cochise County, Arizona. Welcome to Cochise County Veteran-Owned Business, Thursday at 5 with me, Eric. I take no prisoners, but I always demand Zebo. What's going on, everybody? How's your Thursday? Today we're going to have a little different thing going on. But first, I have to say, it's Thursday in the month of April. In the month of April, we have a couple of observances. One of those is Autism Awareness Observance for the month of April, especially if you lighted up blue. Hopefully you did on April 2nd. I do. People may make fun of those blue icicles I still have around my house, so we're carried over from Christmas, but I turn them on that day just so they know.
Yeah, those are great lights.
And I like those. I like the drips.
Yeah.
But it is also National Testicular Awareness Month, and that's why I wear purple every time you see me during the month of April. Because if you're going to support the girls in October, you got to support the boys in April. So be aware. And yes, all cancer sucks. Yes. So whatever you do, pay attention, be aware, and understand.
Get checked.
Yes, sir. Now today, we got a veteran. Today, we got an important individual in this house. So apparently, today I gotta be on my P's and Q's because he's gonna quiz me. I heard how he is. I've seen him in action a couple times. We were at the wrestling thing. I saw him eyeballing the ring, then I saw him eyeballing me. I'm like going, oh, let's do this.
Ready to get in there.
He's like, oh, get out there, big man. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to the show. He has been on the Mike Zaire Show. He has been on the MMRE podcast over in the Phantom Warrior Lounge, but he's in the Rising Eagle Studios here today at the Warrior Healing Center in beautiful Sierra Vista. Ladies and gentlemen, running for mayor of Sierra Vista, Councilman Mark Rodriguez.
Thank you.
How's it going, sir?
Going great, going great. I'm not important at all. You're the important dude. This is your show, man. I'm just a visitor here. I'm not an important dude. I'm just here to help wherever I can when it comes to helping veterans and bringing awareness, even if it's just wearing purple, blue, whatever colors we got to wear, whatever pins we wear. Bringing awareness is super important to me in our community. So it's good to be here, man.
It's bringing awareness, letting people know, understanding, going, why did you do that? And everybody who comes on here is important. Don't sell yourself short. I am just the vessel to get your voice heard out there in the community. So, but you look at it, let's go this way. Every veteran's important.
100%. Yeah. Everybody signed a name on that dotted line, raised their right hand, got on that bus. Didn't know it was on the other end of that bus, but they all went there.
Some did a couple years. Some did a little bit longer. Yeah. And some retired.
For sure. I said I was one of those guys. I'm going to do 4 years and get out.
Yep.
See how that went.
Right. So I'm just going to go in for the college money. I'll be good.
Yeah, the GI Bill.
23 years later.
Yeah. Now my kids are using my GI Bill. So it worked out.
That's what mine did too.
Yeah, it worked out.
He did that, did Cochise College, got the associates. Yeah. So he's doing pretty good with it right now because now he knows, since it was in computers IT, certs.
Yes, certs are important. Especially if the military pay for them. Everybody else out there in the military. My daughter's in the military right now. My daughter's an active duty Marine.
Okay.
Out in Hawaii. So I'm like, hey, while you're in, get those certs, get the degree, the military is going to use you up while you're in. So, you might as well get something out of it.
Learn everything from you. Go ahead, document everything. If it hurts big, if it hurts small, whatever, go ahead and document, because believe me, you're going to wish you did down the line.
For sure. And my wife's, she's a Marine veteran too, and she didn't document stuff very well, as a lot of us didn't. I was fortunate to have, toward the end of my career, to have a good person down here to help me out with stuff like that, and kind of said, all right, look, dude, I know it goes against everything you're taught. Don't go to sick call. Don't go to the doctor, but you really need to take care of yourself. And I hope everybody does that from day one. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean anything else. Anything less of you. Just, hey, get yourself checked out, because you never know what it could be. It could be anything.
It's got to be done because, and if anything, you can learn from the people. When we harp on it and when we say it, we mean it because we've been there. It's not like we're just saying it's like going, oh, we're just checking the box. No, we're trying to help you because stuff that we didn't do, we want to pass on. Is like, be a little bit smarter, be a little bit better.
For sure.
So I am so happy to have you on the show. I'm not going to lie, I've been trying to get this individual on here for some time, but he's a very busy man. He's all over the place. Just trying to get a triangle on him, down to the very, very fine portion of that meter grid square. Yeah. He's all over the place, but finally got him here.
It's important, and we got to be everywhere. That's why I think, as an elected official, we should be everywhere. You should see us out and about. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you got to sleep some part. I'm still got to be a dad. I still got to be a husband. I still got to work a job that actually pays me. Being a councilman, they do pay us a little bit, but not a lot less than people probably think.
Yeah.
We make $750 a month. Some people think that we make a big old salary, things like that. So a lot of us still have to work. I'm retired and disabled, so I do have some checks coming in, but I still got to work, put in some hours in the day. So it's you got to be where you can, and it's that time management thing that tells the military.
But you make an important, and yeah, you're right. You may be all over the place, but that just means you're very visible all over the place. I joke and I say, yeah, he's all over the place, but that's because I know this because I've seen him all over the place.
We should be. Like I said, that's how it should be. That should be our everyday. I don't ever want somebody to ever think, oh, you know what? It's a campaign year. That's why we see him. No, you see me on a daily.
I can honestly vouch for this man. I have seen him at the mall. I have seen him at the park. I have seen him all over the place. This man is 24/7, 25/8. Let's be real.
Yeah, for sure.
So, got you on the show. I got a couple questions.
Sure.
They're going to be fair questions. They're fair questions. And when I say fair, because another mayoral candidate or someone comes in, I want to make it fair across the board and maybe tweaked a little bit, but just to suit you, but it's all still down the same avenue. And of course, it's a veteran-owned business. Yeah. So that's what the meat and potatoes is with this one.
Super important businesses in our community.
Well, first and foremost, I know Mayor McCaw, he stepped down. Mm-hmm. But what inspired you to say to yourself, I want it?
Well, it was always on my mind to eventually, take the next step from councilman to mayor. And I figured, well, I'll do one more term as a councilman and then go from there. But that kind of got fast forwarded when Mayor McCaw said, hey, I'm not running for re-election. So I knew immediately I had to put my name in the hat because I didn't want to sit back and hope somebody good would run. I didn't want to do that. I know as a person, if I want something done, I'm going to do it myself. Mm-hmm. I know the vision I want for our community, and I've heard the feedback from all the years that I've been a councilman. So I think I got a pretty good pulse of what our community needs are. So I thought, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be me. So that's why I jumped in and put my name in the hat and was ready to do it.
And that's a good quality. Is like going, step up, take charge. Like going, I want to do this. I'm not going to sit back and just be an armchair council quarterbacks. Like, I want to make stuff happen. So if I want to do it, I want to step forward.
Definitely.
So you have been, I believe you said this, but I did see it in another interview. You've been, this is your 5th year of being a councilman.
It is my 5th year. First I got appointed in 2021 when a council member left the city to go to the county. Sierra Vista left. And, before that, it's funny because going back to 2020, how this all started really, just conversation during COVID. Everybody had their little small groups of people. We couldn't really go out much. We couldn't interact, but you had your small trusted circles that you still, family and things like that. And it was around a garage bar in town and that one of the firefighters had, and they're just talking to me and said, you know what, man, you should run for mayor. This is in 2020. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're crazy. I'm a military guy. I want nothing to do with politics ever. It's just not what I want to do. I appreciate the thought. And they said, no, you don't see it, but I think you'd probably be good at this thing. I'm like, well, at the time I wasn't on, and I did a lot of volunteer work in the community. So that's where I was connected a lot to the community, but I wasn't on any commissions or anything like that. So I'm like, well, I'm not publicly known. I'm not, politically known. So I don't know how that would work. So anyway, the 2020 election came and went. And in 2021, a spot opened up and all my friends that had reached out before, I said, hey, this is your sign, why don't you give it a shot? So I did, applied, got appointed the first time in 2021. And then ran an election in 2022 and got elected to a full 4-year term. So altogether, it's 5 years now this summer. So it's been great.
So you've been on for this is your 5th year, and you and the council have done a lot of things, a lot of amazing things. And if you haven't seen them in action, around this time, they usually have their own YouTube channel going on for city council. Yeah. I don't know if that's going today, if I took you away from it.
No, next week.
I'm kind of sorry. But you've been doing a lot of things in council, and I know sometimes when you have those votes and you go in there and you're like, you all talk together, but someone eventually has to bring something forward for discussion, for approval. On that note, what would you say some of your major accomplishments have been to bring forth and to work best for the city of Sierra Vista?
Right. So yeah, a lot of those initiatives come from different places. They can come from the staff. They can come from, council led, people, citizens feedback, things like that. When I first got on council, one of the first things I noticed when I traveled to a conference was our youth. I know there was a big youth council there, a big youth council in the conference as well. And I walked in there. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All these young individuals from different cities around the state have a youth council. Why don't we have one?
Mm-hmm.
So I came back and I started asking questions, and it was kind of like one of those things where there was an initiative that wanted to do it, and then COVID didn't help with that stuff, and it just nobody really stepped up to do it. And I was like, you know what, this has to happen. Once I saw the youth doing their thing in Phoenix, and then again in DC at the national level, I'm like, we have to do this. So that was one of the first initiatives I took, was to get this together. And it first started off as a youth commission,
right?
And that had a lot of red tape, which I don't like. Had a little bit too much government on it. So when you're dealing with teens, you got to cut some of that stuff. So now we're a council instead of a commission. So we're not so tied to open meeting laws and things like that. Still get a lot of things done and have a lot of impact. So that's one of the first things I did. And we're still going strong with the youth council, and that's open from 8th grade to seniors.
Okay.
And because the youth is super important to me. Our youth is very, very obviously important to our community. Just like the military, we always have to train our replacements, and they are truly our replacements for the future. So I really I put a lot of my time into making sure that we have a lot of things for the youth, because I also hear that a lot in our community. I have kids here.
Mm-hmm.
My kids have been busy from day one since we moved here. So they always have something to do, whether it was activities, whether it was sports, going outside, doing travel sports. My kids have always been busy in this community. So I've been fortunate for that. But I do hear like, hey, there's nothing for kids to do. So I'll always try to offer another option, another opportunity, anytime I get the opportunity to do that, such as youth council. So that's one of the first things I did when I got on council. And like I said, I still support that very much. And there's always been a lot of things that we've done, we said recently, and there's some things that we've had to make some tough decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing that we wanted to do. Like, for instance, the golf course was a hot item for a long time. It still can be, a little spicy every now and then of a topic. But it's just one of those things where I call the golf course we never wanted, because we did not want to own a golf course. No city normally does, because they normally don't make money. They normally turn into a money pit if they're managed improperly. So I think we learned a lot of lessons very quickly and reached out to other communities to see how they do it and how they shouldn't do it. And one thing we learned right away was, hey, partner with a company who's actually going to run it. Do not get in the business of having your Parks and Rec people, things like that, who do great for the city, but they're not so much trained up on how to run a golf course. So that's one of those grenades we had to jump on quickly, because unfortunately Castle and Cook just bailed out of our community and left us. They were just going to basically lock the keys and put the key in the mailbox and walk off and leave a hole in our community. So we had to jump on that very quickly to say, look, all right, we don't want to do this, but we have to do this. And in hopes of, maybe one day it'll flourish even more and more. And I'm hoping one day Tiger Woods walks in or something like that and says, I'm going to buy your golf course. And that'd be great. We'll sell it.
That would be a great thing. Come on, Tiger. Tiger Woods, y'all. Okay, let's just say
okay,
you win.
Okay.
So you're in office. You got things going on. Yeah. What is your plan? If you have a plan already set, and I'm sure you have, attracting new business while supporting local entrepreneurs.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we always want, that's one thing too in our community, I hear a lot of, and it's just an education thing. And I try to do as much as I can when I talk to people. A lot of people still think, hey, why doesn't the city do this? Why do we have this? Why don't we have that? Why does the city not do that? The city as an entity, we don't tell a business, hey, come here, don't come here. That's not what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can attract businesses by making sure our community has one space for them to move into. Affordable rent space, places for them to live. There's a lot of things that are involved there. Good schools for their family, a good hospital, things to do, in the evening, or stuff like that. All that's important. That's how we can attract businesses, also like professionals to work at our hospitals, things like that. All that comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And just supporting them as much as possible. Now we should be, if we're going to call ourselves a business friendly city, we need to mean it. And cut out anything that's going on where because a lot of times I'll hear stuff or the city this, the city that, and I always try to get to the root of it. Like, okay, so who did you talk to? What was the issue? And in my dealings with that, I'd say probably 85% it's been county issues historically. And normally inspecting things like that, right? Inspector. So not even a city issue, but if there is anything that was on the city side, I'll definitely have addressed it and say, look, this is not business friendly. We need to fix this. Case in point, recently we changed the ordinance on signs, right? So temporary signs,
right?
What the recommendation was from the commission was, they did a lot of good work on this, and I appreciate it. But they had recommended that we give everybody who has a current business right now a year to get their sign into tolerance. And then everybody else that opens a new business will get 90 days. Now, to me, that's not fair. I think everybody should get a year because I think, as a new business, and I reached out to a lot of businesses and said, hey, how much do your signs cost? And some went from $200 to $7,000, depending on how expensive or how nice you want them. So things like that we have to jump in and say, you know what, this is not business friendly for a new business. We need to change the ordinance that says, hey, look, you can have a year to get a nice professional sign done, and your temporary sign, after that, your temporary sign will come down at that point. But at about a year, you'll know if your business is actually we're going to renew the lease again, first of all, and just how it's doing, if it's really worth paying for a sign or not. So things like that, I think, are important that we do when it comes to just ordinances or things like that. Obviously, talking to business owners and seeing how can we help them, whatever little thing it is.
We got another one. What steps would you take to actively promote and prioritize veteran-owned businesses in Sierra Vista while also positioning the city as a hub to attract more veteran-led entrepreneurs?
Yeah. Well, as everybody knows, as you should know, we have about 18,000 veterans estimated in the county, and probably 8,000 of those right here in Sierra Vista. So obviously very, very veteran heavy. That's like me. That's why me and you are here. And most of us, the military brought us here, things like that. I retired here and stayed. Like most of us do, because this community just grows on you. It rests arms around you. You love it, just like I do now.
Mm-hmm.
So, promoting those businesses. My shirt I have right now, support local. I mean that. I always, as you see me out and about, I go visit local businesses. I try to make my rounds and support them. Even though it's just taking a picture of their menu or eating there and saying, hey, this is come check this place out. I've never heard of it before. Come see it, And I do that for every business in town. And I, especially, to put an emphasis on veteran-owned businesses, I think, I don't ever want to exclude anybody, but I definitely want to make sure that we promote that as well. So when it comes to veteran, there's some great ones in town, obviously, that we all support. There's a reason why veterans are staying in Arizona. The state finally got smart and stopped taxing our retirement.
Yes.
Because they figure out, veterans spend a lot of money elsewhere because they were leaving the state. So it's important that the state realized that, and now obviously every city and town in Arizona understands the power of veterans. And if you want to, get veterans riled up, talk about touching their benefits like the VA just did recently. And
that was a touchy subject.
Yeah, for sure. But that just shows you the power that veterans have, and we should, promote all those businesses out there. And maybe, we do things in town. I've been looking at places around town. I've been trying to figure out how to do that. And I recently went to the Old Door Shop. They have a really good setup.
Yeah. And
they're really doing more and more stuff. And they're open to doing fundraisers for 501c3s. So if we could do like a veteran day, of all the veteran-owned businesses, some kind of showcase there on any given day, and then have the space out back to, to kind of just talk and catch up with people, buddies and stuff like that. That'd be a great space to do that. And I really want to put that together. And I would love to showcase all the veteran-owned businesses on a certain day, or do like a pub crawl style thing where we, have a bingo card or whatever, and go to all the veteran-owned businesses in town, whether it's a restaurant, bar, whatever it is, and kind of have a nice flow so we can go from one to another throughout the day or the morning or the evening, depending what time of day it is, and kind of just like bomb them with gratitude and have some people go there and spend some money or something.
And it's another reason why we have veteran-owned business, at least the interview show here, so at least we can highlight the veteran-owned business and get their voice out there so people know. It's like, there's lots of different things out here, lots of different avenues to check out. You can either see your small vendors, your home at home work at the malls doing vendor stuff, or your brick and mortars or anything of that nature off the web. I had one a while ago, Alex Hernandez. he does his 3D imagery,
Right.
and he just does it off of SD, or he has his own website,
Mhm.
and he does amazing. And it's his hobby that he just did wonderful things, and I like to promote that and get that out there. And like you said, at the old doorstop or anything else, let everybody know, going, hey, we got all these people here, and they're here for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how would you reduce barriers like licensing, funding, and visibility for veteran entrepreneurs? And would you support initiatives such as city-backed grants, microloans, or partnerships with lenders to improve their access to capital?
For sure. I mean, I would support all those things. When it comes to, but I will say when it comes to city funds, we always have to make sure that we're on the legal side of things on spending taxpayer dollars for certain things, because we have to be equitable for everybody. Even when it comes to nonprofits and things like that, when it comes to us using taxpayer dollars to support something, it has to be fair and open and accessible to everybody. We can never just say, well, this group gets it and this group don't, because that's kind of not how we run the city.
Right.
But I do obviously support anything like that when it comes to grants or initiatives for small businesses. And I always recommend to everybody, hey, go visit the Small Business Development Center there in Cochise College. That's a great place to start, because they have a lot of information for people just starting. I tell everybody that's asked me, how do I start a business or LLC, things like that, go see them first, right? Talk to our economic development people in City Hall, and also ask all those questions before you sign a lease, before you buy property, before you pay for anything major, because you don't want to be stuck with a lease or stuck with equipment that you can't use because the building that you thought was going to have your business wasn't properly set up for to get to pass inspection, things like that. So maybe get a pre-inspection, and I would wish we could and more people would do that and ask about that. Hey, can we get your your city inspector to do a pre-inspection for me? That way I know, okay, this is even a possibility, and they should ask those questions, and we can make that happen. So I support doing things like that, because recently our inspectors, we're recently able to use them in Wilcox, because they don't have any right now, and ours, we don't have a lot of businesses growing right now, so they're kind of in a lull. It'd be a good time if you want to start a new business. Hey, ask for an inspection, just like hey, can I just do a pre-inspection type thing, unofficial one, and we can talk about maybe setting those up. I would love to help out with those things.
Yes, you can do a pre-inspection of a house that you're looking for, you want to buy. Why not do a pre-inspection of a place, especially with and it's been in the past. It's been talked about, hearsay here and there. People get into a lease, they're doing pretty good. Then all of a sudden, one thing or another, a heater goes down, or air conditioning. There's like usually they'll say, and when I say they, I mean the ones who own the lease will say, "Oh, we're going to need you to fix that." Fair, unfair, whatever the case. But then all of a sudden, I've seen a lot of businesses go out because now, well, you've been here for a while. We're going to put up the price a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll call them what they are. I'll call them slumlords, and we need to get rid of those.
I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure I'd get away
with it. I'll say it. If you are running your business like that, those tactics are slumlord tactics, and we don't need any more of that in our city. We've had enough of it for years now, and it's time to go. If you are not going to be business friendly and rent your business out with a fair rent, sell your building. Let someone else take over it. I'm tired of these buildings on the West End that are full. That are not full, and they're just empty buildings. A lot of them owned by the same people. Some people there are doing the right thing, right, and helping people out. But I know there's business owners that have been in there in certain businesses and want to apply for the West End grant, and the owner doesn't want to sign off on free money. I need this. My roof is leaking. That's on you as a tenant. That's crazy to me. That'd be like me renting my house to someone and saying, "Oh, your AC broke. That's on you." No, that is not how it works. Now, yes, there is contracts and there's legalities when you get into a contract with someone like that. So I recommend you, before you sign anything, take it to the Small Business Development Center there and make them help them look over it, talk to a lawyer, things like that before you sign that lease, because it happens too often in our community, and I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. And like I said, if you are not here to support our community, and you have an empty building, sell it, because we need to move forward. We need progress in our community. And there's a lot of small businesses that are doing well, and they do well at home, but some of them outgrow their home or wherever they're at, and they want a brick and mortar. And when they needed that opportunity, that's what we need to give them, is that opportunity to grow and flourish, and not give you those slumlord tactics where here's your rent for a year. Now in your second year, when you're doing good, we're going to double it. So what does that do? Now that sets them back to zero. So
sets them back to zero. And now they've got an open building again. They're not making nothing,
Yeah.
trying to get someone in there, and they think they can milk someone for
Yeah.
every nickel and dime. And
Yeah.
that's terrible, especially when the business that you knew about that's been there for a couple of years is amazing.
Yeah. And those building owners, they do have property rights, you know, and which everybody has. Is it legal? Yes. Is it unethical? 100%, I would say. And I'm not okay with it. So
No.
and that's really slows down our progress and the growth of our community when we have people that are ready to move into, and they just need a shot, you know.
Yesterday it broke. Juan Ciscomani,
Right,
congressman, said that Huachuca just picked up a new mission.
Yeah.
Speculate all you want.
Right.
I mean, some might not know, some might know. I don't know. But looking at the new mission that'll be coming to Huachuca, I am pretty much guessing, almost guaranteeing that there's going to be a whole bunch of flourish economy coming our way.
Yeah, I would hope so. I think up front, I would say, you know, there's been some estimates out there of how what this footprint's going to look like. First of all, you know, for the Space Force. All right. So if it's 120 people, 150 people, great. That's 150 people that weren't here before, right? And they're going to need some housing and things like that. Whether they initially start off like any other military organization unit does, right? You're going to have some people that need to stay on base and some senior people that will live off base, right? So like barracks base on Fort Huachuca, which they do have some of right now, not a whole lot, but we have had some units that have left recent years. So there is barracks space available. And then we don't have a huge housing market here in Sierra Vista, but we do have houses available. So we can definitely suit the needs of a unit that about that size. Now, if it was going to be a big, huge footprint, that may be a challenge. What we would need probably more neighborhoods, but right now, I think for this footprint that's going to come with it, we can definitely support that. And now, economic growth and development, that, like anything else, you know, you're going to have people that more people in our community that need to shop, that want to, you know, have some entertainment, that need to pump gas in their car, things like that. All that stuff is definitely going to affect our community in a positive way. So I'm definitely excited about that. Very, very excited about that. They haven't really announced the actual mission and what they're going to do yet. But obviously, you know, people come here for a reason. Our community, look at our airspace, our locality here, all the testing you can do, the things you can fly here. That's why we have a spaceport licensing as well. And hopefully, you know, eventually we can be the first re-entry spaceport in Arizona. That'd be amazing.
That would be very amazing. Yeah. I know when Josh was on here about a month or two ago, he's talking about that. And it's like, that's just going to be huge.
Yes.
I mean, that would be amazing. And plus we got all this, I mean, you got other growth coming in other areas. I mean, over by the ALA school, you got Sprouts eventually coming up, the 2040 program?
Yeah. So, you know, things like that. We do have some growth on the outside. Now, Sprouts is, you know, I'll just talk about that area. That area was really contingent, again, on Castle and Cook. And when they pulled out of our community, that was supposed to be, you know, there was a three-way deal. ALA was going to build a school. The city was going to build the roads to go there. And Castle and Cook was going to build the neighborhood, right? And that was going to be our three-way partnership. ALA obviously held up their end of the deal. They have the school there.
Very well.
We built the road there. Someone else didn't hold up their end of the deal to build a neighborhood. So, and that's tied to a lot of things, whether it's water rights, things like that. But they didn't really help us out in that area. So, you know, I'm sure Sprouts is taking a look at and saying, well, what happened here? You know, like I thought you were moving us into an area that was going to be surrounded by this beautiful neighborhood. So, you know, they're probably taking a second look, unfortunately. But we'll see how that goes. I would love that. We need that in that side of town, especially for people that live south of our city. You know, Hereford, Palominas, they would love a grocery store right there in that area that you could just go to and not have to come into town, you know? And just another option like anything else. I'd love Sprouts. Whenever I travel and I see a Sprouts, me and my wife love popping in there. Some of them are bigger than others. Some of them have like a full bar and some have different things inside. So it would be a great asset to our community. And I hope that they still are interested and want to come. But I know, like I said, initially that was part of a deal that included being surrounded by a neighborhood.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, to have some more stuff instead of always having to go to Tucson. And now as of late, you got to deal with what's messed up on I-10 this week. I mean,
I was just there today, dropping my wife at the airport, and you know, you got to plan your route now. Okay, so do I go this way or come back a different way? You know, you really got to look ahead and see and figure out which way to go.
always great having you on the show. I really enjoyed this. I know if you have any final thoughts for us, love to hear it. What I want to see where your journey goes.
Yeah.
I want to see this flourish. I want to see amazing things. I know you can do it. Lord knows you're stubborn at times.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Don't think that's a diss.
If you have a vision, you got to just, you're going to stick with it and see it through. I mean, if my last word, I just want to say, I want to thank everybody for one, just being amazing people in our community. I love this community. Every time when I leave and I travel or go somewhere, I just can't wait to get back. Today, just going to the airport and coming back, and you hit that mile marker, 301, and you're like, you can see Sierra Vista in the distance.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
shot. I love it. Every time I see it, sometimes the aerostat's up in the air, you see the blimp up there, and you just see our beautiful community down there. And I know that anybody else who comes for the first time feels that as well. So everybody in our community is amazing. I want to thank all the veterans out there that for doing what they do. I told this recently to a business owner, you could choose to just sit home and you have your double retirement, you have your disability. You can choose to just sit home and be okay. But you choose to start a business in our community. You choose to put it out there on the line and gamble sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. But I want you to know, I support you, obviously, and our community supports all the businesses and veteran-owned businesses out there. And I want you to keep doing great things, and I support you 100%. And whatever I can do to help, reach out. I'm accessible. You can find me around town. You can find me on social media. I answer back, things like that. I appreciate all the support in my campaign. I got my little campaign button. It's a pretty hot item right here. These are blowing out stores, man.
Very
I really appreciate all the campaign support I've gotten. Getting my signatures, first phase, get on the ballot, which is going well. And then, just talking to people, asking questions that people have out there. And I'm looking forward to doing what I do now. Just the only difference is it being a different seat on council.
They can find you on Facebook, Mark Rodriguez. I know.
Yes.
I follow.
Yeah.
But also a website.
Yeah.
If they want to learn more.
Sure. It's www.mark4sv.com. Mark4sv.com. That's the easiest way to find me. I have all my links on there. All my campaign stuff's there. Reach out to me anytime you want. Send me an email.
We'll definitely be putting them in the comments down below and well as a description up above. Thank you once again for stopping in. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Just let me know.
I mean, Mark, let's be real. We're a little bit older, a little bit more seasons, but the one thing we got together, got the hair crew. You got more hair than I do. You got a lot more over there.
It's up, but it's there.
You got that, so I respect it. I respect the hair.
It's after 21 years in the Army, I'm having to cut it all short, and it's my rebellion.
Like, exactly. That's what I keep telling everyone. It's like, oh, you need to cut it. Like, no, I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping in today for our interview/discussion with Councilman Mark Rodriguez, running for mayor of Sierra Vista. Catch him out there in the open. He is out there. If you might actually just walk outside your door and bump into him. I'm saying he is out there.
You can find me in a dunking booth down in the alley sometimes too, right down here.
I know that dunking booth. I did not judge it correctly. Okay, so that first one really woke up the old butt bone, for lack of a better word.
Hey, I'm here. If you need me to get in a dunking booth, if you need me for a school field trip, if you need me to go talk to your class, whatever you need me to set up a table somewhere, I'm always available and accessible. Just reach out to me. I'll be there.
I got some final notes. As coming up April 25th. Warrior Healing Center 5K Warrior Resolve Series, our second one, Grit and Resolve. That's going to be going on Saturday. I know I got the paper right here, but we've also got the flyer online, so definitely check it out. Also, after you're done with that, and after you're going to Docs and getting that little 10% off after you tear the ticket off the bib, you can head on over to Rose's Poses. She's got a day of giving and wellness. She's got a lot of classes lined up. She got with a lot of different people, different types of yoga. Also with Master Rafael Emil Soto, he will be conducting a self-defense class. I know this for sure because guess who's the practice dummy? But it's all for a good cause. Bring in 5 non-perishable items for a class. It's all going to Peach's Pantry. So definitely check that out. That's an all-day event. And as always, Yes.
Rosa's Poses also does a thing for veterans. So if you don't know
Yes.
that, she offers free classes for veterans on, I think it's Wednesday. So check her out.
She does chair yoga here.
Yeah.
And she also has a whole initiative. We did an interview with her before, and we're going to be catching up with her again next week, and we will cover that subject.
And this Saturday, that same day, West Fest on the west end of Sierra Vista, 2 to 8 p.m. So if you're on that side of town.
Oh, no, this is 25th.
Okay.
West Fest is this Saturday.
Yes. This Saturday. We'll see you there.
Definitely check it out. And how long is it going to?
From 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. A little bit later because it's a lot of feedback from the community that we started too early and it was hotter during the day, which it is. Mm-hmm. So we're doing it from 2 to 8 this time on the west end of Fry.
It's actually been pretty cool as of late so far. So it's been very nice.
Yeah.
That's why I worry about the following months. It's true. If snow hits the ground, well, summer's going to be terrible. But we didn't get no snow, so hopefully.
Yes.
But definitely tune in next week. I'm going to have a veteran baker. I found her. Sonia found her when I was doing First Saturdays at the mall, because that's my other side gig that I love to do.
I love First Saturdays at the mall.
So I will be at her site. She's got a new kiosk out there, so I'll be going doing the interview. So we're going to be remote, but I'm going to share it for everybody. And we got a lot more people coming in. People are wanting to come in here and talk about their business. I might have to do some Fridays and Saturdays, but I'm all right with that. Because not only do I share it here, also, remember, sponsored by Z-Line Creations, my other subdivision business, which I do for free, exact same thing. Veteran-owned businesses here in Cochise County, as well as if they're outside of Cochise County, but they need to be talked about. I got Gen X Grit, veteran-owned business, built different podcasts. It's not only to learn about the veteran-owned business, what they're doing, but also to get an idea if you're that veteran-owned business or someone that wants to be one, right, and you see a subject of people doing what they're doing, offers a template, a blueprint, if you will, of how could I get into doing something like that. And they tell their personal stories, just like we do over here. So
that's great.
So the rebroadcast of this show will also be on my YouTube channel, at @Eric Z, ERIKZ. I know some of you people, I can't find it. I put a C. That's what you get. Saturday at 10 o'clock so that everybody from all avenues can catch this amazing broadcast as well as future broadcasts. Thank you again, Mark, for coming.
Anytime.
Always a pleasure.
Anytime.
And I will see you all next week. Take care of yourselves.
See ya.
Bye.